Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hussein, thank you very much for the extra generous introduction. Don't believe everything he says. It's an honor and pleasure to be amongst some of the best movers and shakers out there, to some of the smartest, wittiest, most intelligent and down-to-earth people. Let's see if I can keep up. I'd like to start by saying, I wish this could move, by saying congratulations. So does anyone know what happened this morning? Sorry? Yes, who said that? Yes. So we basically, or Kipchoge was able to break the sub-2 marathon time. He ran in, I think, an hour, 59 minutes, and 40 or 42 seconds. And basically, when he was in the waiting room, he told his pacemakers and friends, he's like, I don't know what the limit is, but I hope I get there. So congratulations to him, to us, and he's just, you know, this just goes to tell that the impossible is possible. And now my 7 minutes start. Just kidding. Can everyone see me? Actually, before I came, my mom was like, so Mina, are you going to wear heels? I was like, no, Mom. She's like, people will not see you. Can everyone see me? All right, a show of hands. Who of you disagrees with the statement on the slide? Come on. No one to challenge? Challenge accepted. All right, I like this. Okay. Sorry? That's a nice answer. There you go. Okay, let's see. All right. She was born between the sand dunes. At birth, she was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, a neurological disorder, and she was visually impaired. She was blind. Her parents didn't know what to do. Do we go to another country where she can seek help, or we can seek help for her? Or do we stay here for our other kids so they can learn Arabic and blend into the culture since they were born elsewhere? She was no older than 6 months old. I remember walking into her room when I used to go to Singapore, and she would move and shake her crab-like legs. She couldn't see, but she could smell. I used to sit on the couch, lift her feathered light legs onto my lap, and tickle them and massage them. So as soon as I would walk into a room, she knew it was me from my smell, and she would move her legs. Nadine passed away 3 months before we moved into our new house in Saudi, where there was an elevator, there were the machines that she needed. This was in 1998. I cannot tell you the guilt that rushed through me, my parents, and my siblings. Nadine was my sister. She was 3 years older than me. I'll say it again. Even though she was no older than a 6-month-old, she basically taught me what no book, professor, or teacher ever will. I am where I am today because of her. I always thought I was going to follow my dad's footsteps. He's my role model. I'm going to be a doctor when I grow up. They used to call me a Dr. al-Saghir, the small doctor, because I used to look like him. I hope I still do. And after her passing, I wanted to do something where I'm not only working with the individual, I'm working with a family. If I can't treat someone, I want to help them cope. I want to teach them the skills that they will need to cope with whatever comes their way. Allow me to take you to Syria. 2013. I walk into my parents' room and I'm like, Mom, Dad, I'm going to volunteer in Turkey. My dad's like, Allah ma'ak binti, may God be with you. So I fly to Turkey and I make my way to Syria. Ahmed's hand shoots up in the air at the speed of flight and smiles from cheek to cheek. I couldn't help but surrender and ask him for the last letter in hangman. He stands up, looks proudly at his classmates, and in one unified voice, freedom echoes in our microscopic tent between the olive trees. Ahmed, what does freedom mean to you? I ask, as water trickled down my forehead. Freedom is when a child does not witness his father fall outside the apartment window because he was the shield between the bullets and his children. But we were not able to save him. An 8-year-old's definition of freedom. Last year, I received a message from Ahmed. I stayed in touch with his family and him. And he told me, Anta Muna, Miss Muna, my definition of freedom changed. Of course, my heart skipped a beat. He was one of my favorites. I was like, what is your definition? And he said, my definition, freedom, is al-hurriya, hurriyat al-ikhtiyar. Freedom is the freedom of choice. Ahmed is still in Syria. He has no idea what his future, what his future is. But he's making the right choices. He's in charge of his mother and 2 siblings. And he said no to people who basically told him to do things that will earn him some money, because he knows that there is a future and there is hope. Allow me to take you to Saudi Arabia, the empowerment hub that you heard about from Hussein. This was one of my babies. We thought it was going to be a social enterprise. We thought that we were going to create a platform where, we're focusing on fitness and health and youth and women way before, with all due respect, people turned an eye and focused on women in sports. And we had all these outdoor events for females, the CrossFit zone, the Mind, Body, and Soul zone, the unofficial color run, the unofficial electric run, all brought to Saudi, the first yoga retreat in Al-Bujayri in Riyadh. But guess what? Reality hit, and we sunk. Why? Because the focus was on basically investing so much in these events and giving back to the community without investing in the company itself. Do I need to end? Do you want me to end, guys? Sorry. Sorry. All right. I'll make it fast. Why? It's because little me was like, oh yeah, and a few others. We were five co-founders. We're like, yeah. This is what we have. This goes to one of these charities. In the span of, 2014 to 17, we were able to raise $770,000 to projects given to these NGOs. But we sunk because we didn't think strategically about it. It's bittersweet, but it's more sweet than it is bitter. Because when I look back and I think of the Empowerment Hub, happy moments and happy thoughts come to mind. When I walk into the gym and a girl comes to me and is like, because of the Empowerment Hub, I'm here today. When another girl comes to me and is like, I think I was kind of like borderline clinically depressed, and I just started coming to the gym because I figured that there's more to it than just getting on a treadmill, with gum in my mouth, on the phone. So we picked ourselves up and we realized that it wasn't the social enterprise that we wanted it to be. It was a grassroots initiative. Nepal. 4 girls, different religions, different cultures, different backgrounds, attempting probably one of the toughest mental and physical journeys ever. If we thought about the summit from the very first day, I can assure you, none of us would have made it. Absolutely none of us would have made it. It was a tough journey. I had to actually overstep and bypass lifeless bodies. I saw people taking their last breaths. I actually heard in the very tent next to me, someone literally choking to death because his lungs and his brain had filled with water. My father asked me, I should say, before going to Everest, he's like, promise me you'll come back. I looked at him like, Dad, of course. Deep down inside, I knew it was not an of course. Anything could happen. But one thing that really helped our whole team to reach the top of the world was basically taking it step by step and enjoying the journey. Each one of us was climbing for a different cause. And each one of us took each day as it came. Every single day was a summit. My summit today was to reach this point. My summit today was to reach this point. I'm going to skip over these because there's no time. And last but not least, remember those who basically stood by your side, supported you, and took you through the journey. We tend to forget, and we tend sometimes not to give credit to those who deserve it. Had it not been for Chombi and Dorje, my Sherpas, I wouldn't have been able to stand on the roof of the world. And last but not least, Nadine. Through the most vulnerable, magic can and will happen. Thank you.